Hey everyone, my name is Annie Cooper from TuneIntoFitness.com. I'm here with Sanja Hatter, co-founder of Thrive, a success network that teaches you positive skills for life and in business. So Sanja, I want to start with your background a little bit before meeting your husband, Cole.
I went to school for criminal justice. Well, first I started out in psychology, and then I couldn't pass one class, so I changed my entire major. But I know. And it was called self-discipline, and I could not do it. It was like the basic one, and I went through all the harder classes, but I was I cannot. It was, you have to go to the library, then you have to go here, then you have to do a group project, and I was so busy. I had 2 other jobs. So I was like, this just isn't going to work. And I really liked the show CSI and Dexter and all that kind of stuff. So I was you know what? I'm going to go for criminal justice. And so I got into law. And then, so I got a bachelor's of science in criminal justice and a minor in psychology. And I worked at the police department in Laguna Beach. I did homicide. Mm-hmm. And then I worked at a restaurant nearby called Mosa, and it was a nightclub on the weekends. And then I stopped doing both of those.
And that's where you met your husband, right? When you were working, you were bartending?
I was bartending, and then Cole walked in, and I've known him since 6th grade. But we started talking in high school, and he walked in to the bar that I was working one night, and he's like, "Hey, how have you been?" And I was like, "I'm doing great." And he asked me out that night. He said, "What time are you off?" And I was like, "It closes at 2. I'm done cleaning around 4." And he's like, "Do you want to go to Denny's?"
I was like, the only place open.
Exactly. So he thought about it, and I said, "No." I'm like, "That's ridiculous. No." And I knew him from high school as the football player. I was the smart kid that everyone copied their homework off of. So I was like, I'm not going to go to his house. He had all the parties. And then he called me again the next day. Mm-hmm. So I gave him my phone number that night, thinking, I was like, he won't call me. And he called me the next day. He didn't wait the 3-day rule or whatever that was. And he called me and said, "Hey, I'm coming back to your work tonight. Are you working?" So this guy, when he wants something, he just goes for it. And so then I decided to meet him one night, and I couldn't get rid of him.
Okay, so when you guys first got married, you were not obviously anywhere near where you are now. You were kind of at a low point. How did you get out of that and kind of get the idea for Thrive?
So we were on our honeymoon in multiple places. We went just backpacking in Europe. Okay. And when we were in Rome, I asked him, I said, "Hey, if there's anything that you could do, what would you want to do?" Mm-hmm. Like if money wasn't an issue. And at that time, the bar closed and I wasn't working anymore at the police department. Okay. So, and I had a condo. I'm like, how are we going to pay for our bills? And he just lost a whole bunch of houses. That's when there was the recession hit, and it was just hard times. And I was like, we can't even, how are we going to pay for electricity, you know? And, he said, if I could do anything, I'd like to make an event and be kind of like Tony Robbins, but instead of all motivational and inspiring people, I want to have business tactics where people can learn just, step by step how to do things as well. Like he wanted to mix both worlds. I'm like, that's so neat. Like, that's what you want to do? And he's like, yeah, but I don't even know how I would start. So as time went on, finally he decided one day, he's like, I'm going to do it. Okay. And so he did it majority all by himself. And at the last 2 weeks, I was like, what are you going to do for registration and packets and swag that you get at events? Yeah. And he's all, I didn't think about that. So he thought about how getting the speakers there and getting people in the seats and the venue. And he had all the big details and he had the vision, but he's just not very detail oriented.
So it was the little things.
Yes. And so that event, there was about 440 some people
there. And that was the first one?
That was the first one. And we lost over $200 some thousand.
Holy crap.
So that was a really, really hard hit. And I was like, okay, never again. This is it. And he's like, no, now I know what to change. We're going to do it better. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dear Lord, please, we can't lose that much money again. Yeah. I'm like, we're working hard. I don't want to just lose it. And he's like, no, if you want to be successful, we got to take risks. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Back in the day when I did my 9-to-5 job, it was very, it was safe and I had my money in my bank account and, I had my condo and it was what my parents taught me to do. Yeah. We came from Serbia and Europe. And so it was very you work hard, you go to school, you save your money, and this is what you do. And then I meet Crazy Cole, an entrepreneur, and everything changed. And so I realized that taking big risks, we've, lost a lot, but we've also made a lot. And so we decided to do it a second year, and so many people were asking him questions and saying, hey, could I come speak? And what about this? And what about that? And so he was getting really overwhelmed with all of his messages. So I was like, getting on Facebook, and I saw people were asking me stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I had like this big yellow notepad, and I would write everything on it. I'd be like, this person has this. Okay, this and this. And then he'd be taking a shower, and I would sit at the end of the bathtub, and I'd go through each bullet point with him, and then I would write back everybody else.
Smart, killing time.
Exactly. And that's like the only time he's calm. He's either on the phone or he's doing something. And so I was like, this is the only time I'll get him. Or literally while he was in the bathroom. Like, we're totally married. And so I'm like, babe, are you going to be in there for a while? So we're like, let's start. Yeah, he's like, can't I just go to the bathroom alone? I'm like, no, I have children. I can't go alone. So you're not going to go alone either.
Yeah.
And so I get all these answers, and people realize that going through me, they'd get an answer a lot faster than they would through Cole.
Okay.
So I started getting even more questions, and then even more. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to do this? I'm trying to do my life, the kids, be a wife, mom, sister.
How do you manage that time with so many
can't.
things going on? So you're still kind of learning how to manage it.
Yeah, I make like a list of priorities. And so I think when people say like, oh, there's a perfect work-life balance, there's not. You just have to realize what's a priority and go from there.
Go down the list.
Yeah. And like, it's not all unicorns and rainbows and where everyone's like, oh no, you'll figure it out. And then it's so peaceful when you have this time. No, there's never downtime. But I like that life, and I just make sure that I'm always there for my babies and my husband, and then, work comes in later, and then the house is last. So there's always laundry around, there's always dishes, there's toys everywhere, but I'm like, I have to prioritize things, and that's just how I got involved into Thrive. It was just answering questions for Cole and trying to keep everything balanced, and we're going to be coming up on our 5th year, and we're planning to have 2,000 people this year.
Is that going to be the most ever?
Yeah. So last year we had a little bit over, was it 1,200? It was over 1,000 at one point, and then we had like so many come in the last like 2 weeks, and I just never even asked. So I believe it was at like 1,200. So this year I was shooting for 1,500, but I was like, why shoot so low? So I'm going for 2,000. As many as possible, yeah. And so the venue holds 2,000. So we're like, let's just go for
Max it out. Yeah. So how was it transitioning kind of into a partner to a business partner? Was it tough at first to kind of make that transition?
It was, because I would have to ask Cole everything, because it was his vision. So I'd be like, babe, what do you want for this? And then he goes and he does a lot of speaking. So he'll be gone for like 4 days, and he's in a black hole teaching real estate for 10 hours each day. Like, it's not multiple people. It's just him.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be able to get a hold of him. So I just started answering questions on my own, and he started to like the answers. And then he enjoyed being mostly the vision and me doing all of the necessities, like just to make it, the logistics, just to make it run. He never even liked that. He likes to know, okay, this is the feel of the crowd. This is what videos I want to show. So emotionally they feel this. And then I like all these speakers that you picked, Sanja. I feel like this person is aligned with our values and everything. Let's go with this person. He's more of the vision now at this point. He tells people that like 80% of it, he doesn't even know what's happening. He just shows up. But that was like a goal that he always wanted. He said, look at Tony Robbins. He shows up at the event. He just shows up, blows up, and he leaves.
That's so true.
And so, I told him, I do enjoy doing the details, and I have a great team that helps me now do it. Before it was just me. And so now I have more time to do stuff that I want and be with the kids, because our team is just awesome. And we're just going with the flow.
So going back to the whole speaker, so you've had big name speakers like Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Robert from Shark Tank. What's the process of getting these people to come to your event?
Just being very, very persistent. So, for example, Eric Thomas came this year. And Cole has loved him his whole life, and he has followed him, and he's always said, babe, I really want you to get him. So what do? I have like a Word document that was just for ET, and I would copy paste it on his website for speaking, and I would do it like once a week. Like I was annoying.
Yeah.
And after 3 years, I finally got him. And he came to our event and he said he's never seen an event like this, that it's the most amazing event he's ever been to. He gave Cole and I such props for Thrive because it's a business conference, but we don't do like a sell-a-thon where everybody's being pitched products. It legitimately is to learn. And that's why we lose money, because these speakers aren't selling. And so there's no way to recoup costs.
Got it.
And so Thrive is just different. And so everyone's like, you know, if you got sponsors and you let someone talk, you could like make like $50,000 off this person. And I said, yeah, but then our audience is there and they're being pitched the whole time. And they not what they're there for. They want to be inspired. They want to learn. And so it's kind of become like our mission. And so like Cole was a missionary back in the day. And so we kind of look at this as deposits into heaven when people are coming to our event and they said, I found my why, I found my purpose. Aww. And, you know, people have written us messages like, I was suicidal and now I have my why. We've had people that have said, you know, I was going to get a divorce and now I'm going to work through my marriage. And it's just all these different things that have happened that keep us going. Because at times I just want to give up. I'm like, I'm running around with my head cut off trying to make this event work.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, I'm all, this is why we're here. This is why we do it. And I think that, like you said, these speakers that come, they can see and they see the crowd that is there and they understand our message. And so they're willing to come and like waive part of their fees. They reduce their prices significantly.
That's sweet, yeah.
And so we can make this event happen. And just persistence. When Eric came up there and he's like, if Sanja didn't try getting me for 3 years, he's like, I wouldn't have been able to experience this. And now ET wants to do business with Cole.
Wow. And
came to our house for Cole to mentor him.
That's amazing.
So I was like, Cole followed this man for 13 years and has been inspired by ET. And now ET's at our home, flew from Detroit. He's like, when you type in Eric Thomas, it says #1 inspirational speaker. It doesn't say Tony Robbins. He's right under him. Like ET is the hip hop preacher and has been around. And, he is now trying to have Cole mentor him. And I just think that's so unbelievable. And Cole's like, babe, thank you for not giving up. And so like, I've not given up on, you know, The Rock. I am so annoying. The Rock has heard from me and our team and people at all different angles. And same with Will Smith. And I'm like, you know, they're untouchable, but I feel like I will get them. Yeah. They're going to be like, and so for example, Seth Godin, I want him to come and he only flies 4 times a year. And he wrote me back and he's like, man, your persistence, this makes me just want to break my rules just to come.
Good.
Because yeah. And so I've just decided that when I'm going to reach out to these people, you know, I think that if people want to, for example, if you'd like to speak to someone and do like a podcast or an interview, first of all, don't ever give up. And, I like Instagram has been a home run. I will DM people and most of the time that person will check their messages. Yeah. It's not just their assistant, like Cole has Victoria checking his, you know, so it's,
which she's great about.
Yeah, because he just gets overwhelmed with everything and I'm sure so many others do. But Instagram has been a really useful tool for me to get a hold of these top speakers. And then I'm able to basically pitch them my message through an email. Okay. I'm very short when I talk to them on Instagram. I'm like, hi, I know you like speaking on stage. I'd love to tell you about this event, blah, 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 blah. But it's very short. Like these people don't have time. So if you keep it brief and kind of mysterious,
and then they can probably click on you as well and see, okay, what kind of is this and go through your stuff.
Exactly. So I have to make sure that I am posting about Thrive. Can't just be like my 2 little girls and my husband, you know, they have to see that we do have something credible going. And then they'll write me back and say, here's my assistant's email. Please send them this. Then I usually give them the whole spiel and I have a highlight reel of Thrive. And then that's when they either say, sorry, like if I can't pitch a product, I can't come. Or they say, you know what, I really love this and I see your lineup, I'm going to come.
They want to do it. And so you guys also have orphanages that you build within Thrive.
Just one.
Just one. Okay, so tell me about that a little bit.
So Cole, and he says this and it's terrible, but like I dumped him, because he said that he'd never get married. And this was not an ultimatum. It's just we were together and I really loved him, and he said he'd never get married when we first started dating.
Well, he had a bad accident that happened.
Yeah, so he's always felt that people will leave him or they die, and I mean, he lost his best friends, and so when we first started dating, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to marry you anyway, like, let's just date and hang out. And after so much time, I fell in love with him, and I was like, hey, you know, do you think one day you'll get married? Not to me, like in 10 years. In general, yeah. Like, do you think now the door's open? And he's like, no, I'll never get married. And so that was really nice of him to be completely honest, because I know he could like have strung me along. But he's like, you know, like guys do it all the time. And I don't know. I'm like, and I just said, it doesn't have to be to me, but I just want to know the door's open. I don't want to date you for 5 years and then, you know, we'll never be married, never have kids. I don't want to make more memories and fall deeper in love with you if that's the case. And he's like, I really love you, and I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I will never walk down the aisle with anybody. And I was like, all right. And so I broke up with him that night and thinking this is completely it. Like, it wasn't an ultimatum. Like, some girls they'll message me, I'm going to break up with my boyfriend today. So they propose to me. I'm like, no. Oh my God. We legitimately stopped talking. And then 2 days later, he moved to Mexico.
Okay.
So like, he moved away because he didn't want to run into me because we were on the same street.
It would have been too hard, I'm sure. Yeah.
And we had same friends. And so he's like, I've always wanted to go be a missionary. And I was like, all right, have fun. So he went down to Mexico, and his life was forever changed down there. He met these beautiful kids at this facility that a woman named Rebecca and Marcos had. And Cole saw how just like, you know, $10 of groceries can make such a difference to this family. And she would just take all these kids in that she possibly could to help them. And Cole's like, okay, I know that I could do a lot of good down here if I go back home and make business. Like, I can't just be here raising support. A missionary, I don't know if some people don't know, a missionary, you raise support and then you pay to stay on a base, and you work for free and you pay for your food and you go help others. But you have to raise those funds to become a missionary. And so Cole's a very smart man, and he was just like, I want to go do, I really love business, and I know that I could do a whole lot more if I go back home, I start a business, and I crush it, and I can build this orphanage. And so after 7 months, he decided to move back home, and I went for a girls' weekend, and when I got off a boat, he was there with a sign. And I thought he was in Thailand, actually. His mom told me he was in Thailand. He was helping at a brothel. Okay. And so I was like, man, this guy's just going around the world helping everybody. And I was like, please don't talk to me on like social media, because then I can't get over you. And I was trying to go out. And then when I got off the boat, it said, I love you, Sanja. And I was like, what is happening? And so the video is so embarrassing because I'm such a mess on it. And then he proposed to me right then. And it was so funny because when I left, everyone's like, I was single, I was going out, and all of a sudden I come back and I'm engaged. Everyone's like, who were you even dating? I was like, this guy that I dated. Like,
and then you have to tell the whole story.
So it had been like at that point, like 8.5 months or something. And everyone's like, you guys weren't even talking. You're not even friends on like anything. And I'm like, yeah. And his whole thing was he'd already dated me. He knew he wanted to marry me. He had healing down in Mexico. And then we got married. But in the meantime, we'd go down there and we'd get presents for the orphanage. And so Rebecca actually grew it. And now there's so many more kids. Now we're building a wall, and we've built the roof and more bathrooms and more this. And as time's gone by with Thrive Connect, our mastermind that we have this weekend, we actually raise money and we go help build her facility. That's and amazing. Help food. And, you know, we got our water filtration system. And so us with Thrive is helping grow our orphanage, and with Thrive, we get to help a nonprofit. As, for example, Claire, we raised $175,000 for her 1 year, and then last year, over $200,000 on stage for her. So this year, we're trying to find the next nonprofit that we're going to help, and it's just Thrive has been a blessing to so many people, and that's why we continue it.
Yeah, so make money matter is a large part of Thrive. Is that kind of what the meaning behind it is? Kind of sending your money to better everyone else's lives?
Yes and no. It's That, yes, we want people to learn how to grow their business and take that money and go give back. But the idea is to make your business like Tom's Shoes.
Okay.
So Tom, when he created Tom's Shoes, or Blake, when he created Tom's Shoes, it was when you buy a pair, you give away a pair. Mm-hmm. So we want people that come to Thrive to change their business, where if you're doing real estate, if you sell a house, maybe you take a percentage of that and you decide to give back to people that are homeless. So like we teach everyone how to have a for-purpose business. So you just kind of find what you're passionate about, and yours could be, you know, fitness and helping other girls that, you know, might have body dysmorphia or anorexia or bulimia or whatever it is. And every time you do something, then your business gives back to them. And so it's just kind of just helping the world grow and just leave an impact and a legacy.
It's an amazing concept because not many people do that with their businesses.
And
they focus on money. And it's
exactly. But then if you look at all the things that are selling nowadays, if it's a for-purpose business, they do even better. Like when I go to the store and I see the bars that save, like if you go to Starbucks, it's a bars that save lives. Literally, it says it.
Right, yes.
So when you buy that bar, you're feeding somebody. I'll spend an extra $2 on that and eat that bar knowing that I helped somebody instead of buying a cheaper bar. Or there's people, you know, the Blind Brothers, they give back for learning, to learn more about eyes and like how to help people not, I forget what it is that, the disease that it is, but they are raising monies for every time you buy a shirt, it gives back to finding the research to help those people. And so I'd rather spend an extra $20 on that nice shirt knowing that I'm helping give back to the world instead of just buying a regular shirt from Hugo Boss or something like that.
Yeah, because it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I know I'm making a difference. Yeah, and exactly. I have sunglasses. The only sunglasses I buy now are from Diffwear. So every time I buy a pair of sunglasses, and they're $85, and they're still like really legit, but I have friends that'll spend like $300 on like Gucci or something like that. But mine, every time I buy it, it gives back. Someone learns how to read. They get reading glasses. And so it's just so nice knowing that you're actually making a difference when you're buying things. It's not just consumerism. You're helping. Exactly.
So was it tough kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone because you were going from kind of the 9-to-5 kind of, you know, realm, that kind of environment, to working for yourself, helping your husband? Was it hard to step out of that and transition into that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's terrifying. It's so like easy to do what, like the factory life, you know, you wake up, you go here and you do this and you go home, and then you get to like basically clock in and out, and you're just going to go home and you eat dinner and you're in peace, versus when you have your own business. It's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, I shouldn't be watching TV after dinner. I could be changing my website, or I could be doing this.
Do you ever feel like that actually when you're somewhere you feel like you shouldn't be there and you should be doing something
all
else?
The time.
For work?
I'm like, I could be so much more productive. I should be doing this and that. And I think that's what makes it hard, is when it's not a regular 9-to-5, because you can never clock out, ever. And then on Saturday and Sundays, you're just like, this is just going to be fun, relaxed time because you need time for yourself. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I should be doing this and then that. And I could be messaging another speaker, and I could be fixing this, and I could make another this. And so it never ends. But I also think that that's just like, you either have the mindset for that and you will be successful, or you just, how you are right now, going to all these different places and you're interviewing people and you're not on a set schedule. And when someone says, hey, you want to go home for a girls' night? You're like, hey, I'm in Santa Monica and I'm not here. Yeah, like you're always working. And when you're done with this, you're probably going to go edit, and then you're, you know, get to go eat dinner, and then you're like, who am I going to interview next? Like it never ends.
But it's enjoyable. It's the process of it that's kind of makes it worth it.
And then you feel a satisfaction when you're done and you see all that you've accomplished. And I think that certain people are cut out for it and some aren't. And there's nothing wrong with either.
Right. It's kind of like what your DNA is, I guess, the way to say it.
Yeah.
Kind of how you were brought up and how you kind of lived your life previously before.
Yeah. And I didn't live, like, I thought Cole was crazy when he did this. I was like, this is so risky. You need to go to work. Like, you can't be doing real estate. Look at what if everything crashes? And then it crashed. And I was like, see, I told you. My dad told me, and I have money in the bank, and now you invested all of it. And I'm like, that's not okay. But then now I see, like, we don't have all of our money sitting in our bank accounts. We lend it out and we're making higher interest on it than we did when it's in our bank.
Okay.
So it's like, there's things that I've learned and I'm making a higher percentage now, but it is risky because what if someone does go flip that house and they can't pay me back? Then I've lost out on that money. So it's hard to distinguish the right time to lend out money, but also I don't want to make 0.01% in my bank account. And it's just having it sit there.
Yeah. So another thing kind of on the comfort zone thing is fitness competitions. It's one thing that we have in common. I've done them and you have done it too. How did that kind of change your mindset going through such a hard prep and going through that thing? Do you think it's changed you with business and in life going through that?
That's why you're successful, because you've done like you've done the competition. Like there is, to have a mindset to be that dedicated to your diet, to your workout, to where all your friends are partying and it's like, no, I'm not going to go eat that pizza and I have to go to the gym. And if I can't make it in the morning, I have to go at 9 p.m. at night or whenever it is. I have to get up at 4 a.m. It's like there's a different mindset that's needed. And the only reason why I actually did it was on my bucket list. And I was like, one day I'll do one day, but never did I really think I would.
Yeah.
And then when Cole told me that I have to speak at Thrive, my heart stopped, because public speaking is the most terrifying thing to me. And it's actually like the number one thing that people are scared of before death. And so it's so terrifying. So I said, all right, I've always wanted to do a competition. And I said, if I could be half naked on stage, I could do anything. Like for real. And to sit there and be for 3 months dedicated and sticking to my diet and my workout, I was like, I could talk in front of 1,000 people. If I'm going to be doing this on stage, like this is way harder than talking to 1,000 people. And I did the competition, and for 88 days, I didn't have a bite of mac and cheese. I ate grilled chicken and asparagus and oatmeal. I mean, you know the whole routine, and made sure I got my workouts in, my runs, my walks. And I mean, I got first place. So it was all worth it. But it just showed me how if I like take the time and I really devote myself to something, that I have this willpower that I didn't even know that I had. And I was like, I succeeded. And that was
like your test run.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was the coolest. And everyone's like, well, when's your next one? I said, why would I do it again? I got first place. I dropped the mic and walked away.
Don't ruin it.
And I never want to do the posing again.
I know. That's the worst.
That's like the worst part. I was like, I could eat healthy and work out all day long, but the posing, I just felt so silly.
I know. You do. You feel awkward and kind of like, what am I doing?
Is my arm in the right spot? And then am I smiling? Am I like stressed out? I felt like I was just like flexing. Like I just felt funny.
So what does the future hold for Thrive? Do you want to just kind of build your speakers, because right now it's a 3-day event, is that right? Do you ever want to make it a longer event?
No,
you want to make it...
I'd like to make it shorter, but I feel like the 3 days is perfect. Just because we have so many festivities throughout the time too. Like we all have a VIP dinner, then we have a pool party / like networking party.
Cool.
There's just so many fun things that we have where people actually become a community. I feel like if we did it in one day, then you don't get to bond. And the thing that has become incredible with Thrive is people have become, we call it family. So it's family and friends. We put the words together and it's family. And so many business partnerships have evolved. Just people that have felt lost in this space. The grind and working hard, and people feel, other friends that don't know this life feel left out. Yeah. And they'll be like, why didn't you come to this party? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? These people that come to the conferences or to our conference, they have the same mindset. So they understand.
It's a lot easier. You don't have to explain yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like you still make time for each other, but if things slip up or you have an extra interview or you have this and it's like you can't be there not on time. It's because I like being on time places. But it's just life is different and very spontaneous versus not this lifestyle. And so I just love seeing everyone that is bonded, or like the relationships. I mean, someone got engaged on our stage, like it's literally just been so fun. And how do I want it to, I just want to have more people. I want to have more people attend. And everyone will hear the message. There'll be more people having a for-purpose business. There'll be more people succeeding in business, learning these tactics, and then just becoming family.
How long does it take you to plan for these events? It takes the whole year?
It takes the entire year. And it's like planning for 10 weddings in a weekend.
Oh my gosh.
And for 2,000 people this year. So it's like, it definitely takes up my entire year. And so this year we decided to move the event to May.
Okay.
Instead of having it in September or October like we normally do. We moved it up because our summers are so busy that we miss out on summer, and our babies now want to go swimming, go do so much fun stuff.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah. So we're like, you know what? We're not going to have the grind happen right before September and we miss out on summer. So we just move the whole event up. So I'm like, I got anxiety because I feels like it's tomorrow.
Is it always in the same place, or do you switch locations?
We've switched. We did Mandalay Bay, then we did San Diego, and then we went to the Hard Rock, and then we did again at the Hard Rock, and this year we're doing it at the Hard Rock again, just because we love them, and they're about to demo the entire place. So we're like, this will be the final year, and actually won't be able to have it again there because we're going to max out on how many people can attend, or we'd have to raise our prices. And we don't want to do that at the moment because we do want to get our message out to as many people as possible. So the Hard Rock is going to be our last Thrive 5. Richard Branson bought it.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be known as the Virgin something, and he's changing, like, the pool will be Necker Island, and they're just going to change the entire place. Literally, we're the last event, and then the following weekend in June, they're demoing everything.
That's quick.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to do Thrive out of the U.S.? Have you thought about that?
No. When we did it in San Diego, it was really hard on people coming internationally. It was very expensive. So, like, people coming from Australia and London, a lot of people come from Canada. For them to fly into San Diego was really pricey, and also the hotel was like $200. It was like $200 and some a night, versus I had at the Hard Rock on Thursday and Sunday. I got it for $55 a night this year.
Wow!
Like, that's like Motel 6 pricing. Like, I told them, I'm going to bring you guys. So they're a boutique hotel, and I was like, I'm going to fill every single one of your rooms. So I need you to give me the best deal. And so I got a smoking deal for everybody, and it's 8 minutes from the airport, and it's the cheapest place to fly into.
That's what you're good at.
So I got all the logistics down.
That's awesome.
So we'll probably always stay in Vegas just for everybody. And I mean, I'd love to have it. I live in Orange County. I'd love to have it in San Diego, Orange County, but then people from Canada, and it's too hard for them. It's so expensive. I didn't realize how it could be an extra $1,000 for a flight. And I'm like, that's so much money.
I'm sure they would still even go. If it was
I know. So maybe one day we'll go back, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, if there's one last thing that you wanted to say to the world, what would it be?
Dream big, because if you would have told me that I'd be sitting here right now doing an interview for Thrive, an event, like, I would have never thought that I'd be doing something like this in my life, and I just wish that I dreamt bigger when I was younger.
So where can they find you on social media, and what is the website for Thrive to get tickets and things like that?
So Sanja Hatter is my handle for, like, Instagram and Facebook, and then if you'd like to go see my event, it's attendthrive.com, and it has, like, all the information on there. You could buy tickets, you could just, reach out and meet other people, and so
Well, thank you so much. You can also watch this in podcast form if you guys are interested, and thank you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.